Greetings, friends and family. I am Stephanie R. Bridges, and I am so excited to be presenting children's books that are written, published, and illustrated by Black creators specifically with you in mind. Be sure to check out bridgesbookclub.com to get these titles and more. Special thanks goes out to the Tawi Family Village and Dr. Jill Jackson for hosting the Ohio Kwanzaa 2020 celebration. Charting a Legacy. This is day 4 of the celebration, and our Kwanzaa principle is Ujamaa, which is cooperative economics. It is so important that we build and maintain our own businesses and profit from them together. Today, I will be reading a book written by Enjoy. A secret Olivia told me. This is a picture of the author Enjoy and the illustrator Nancy DeBard. Olivia told me a secret. I promised I would not tell. It was such a great big secret, I thought my head might swell. It was hard not to tell the secret. I wanted to spread the news, but I gave Olivia my word. Her friendship I could not lose. As I played with my classmate Ayana, the secret accidentally slipped. But before I could catch the secret, it tumbled right out of my lips. Ayana chatted with Stephanie, and at once Stephanie knew. Then Steph whispered to Tony. She declared that it was true. Tony leaked the secret to Jalen. Jalen's sister Anita overheard. It didn't take long for Anita to start spreading the word. Anita told her friend Terry. To the secret, she added more. When Terry told Tabby the secret, it was bigger than before. Tabby passed it on to her classmates. She blew up the secret too. More and more people told the secret, and it grew and grew and grew. The secret became even bigger with parts that were not true. The secret was no longer special because now everyone knew. I thought and I worried and I fretted. What did I get myself into? So I decided to tell Olivia the truth, 'cause it was the right thing to do. I'm sorry, I said to Olivia. You know, I am your friend. I made a mistake. The secret is out. Please, don't let our friendship end. Together, we both learned a lesson. Of this, we are very sure. Don't tell a single person a secret, or it won't be secret anymore. The end.
Peace. This is Brother Hatim, and I want to say hi to the group. Hey, the group, can y'all say hi? All right, now we doing a live story, and we doing right now the story called The Magic Bird. Now I'm doing it with this group because they already experienced the magic bird, and they know how to do it, don't y'all? Yeah! We gonna turn it out, right? Yeah! All right, so now this story is called The Magic Bird, and all of y'all know that all my stories start which way? That way and far, 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 far away. Once there was a group of villages. Now, this was the villages of the Gye-Nyame people. And the Gye-Nyame people are known worldwide for all of their accomplishments. But this was before they became famous. Before they became famous, they were attacked by a swarm of birds. Now, these weren't ordinary birds. These was magic birds. And these magic birds would come and take their food, but it would be a particular type of food that they would take. They only would take prepared food. So this means that they never attacked the cows. They never attacked the goats. They never attacked the corn. They never went out in the field or went to the fruit trees. They will only take the food if you have prepared it and made it ready to eat. So that meant that the goats were safe as long as you didn't want to make goat soup. Or the cows were safe as long as you didn't make hamburgers. As soon as you got done cooking it and was about to put it up in your mouth and eat it, guess what would happen? The birds would appear and take it. And this happened to everybody at the same time. So you, and you could all be eating at the same time in different villages, and all at the same time, the birds would appear and do what? So if you had, what's your favorite food? And you had your favorite food? You gotta talk loud. French fries. And you had chicken and rice. And you had broccoli. And you had, all right, somebody said strawberries. You? This one right here that I'm pointing at. Right here, you, in the red shirt. Huh? Hot dogs. And you? Huh? Fudge. Okay, and you?
French fries.
French fries, and you?
Gingies.
All right, and you?
Carrot.
And you?
Hamburger.
And you?
Wendy's.
And you?
Popcorn.
You know, wait, hold on. You know Wendy's is not a food. What type of food?
Corn.
Okay. And you?
Popcorn.
And you?
Hamburger.
Okay, double-decker hamburger. Talk loud so you can be heard. And you?
And a sandwich.
Sandwich. Last one. And you?
A pizza.
All of y'all had all y'all food at the same time. These birds would appear and do what?
Snake.
Now, this was going on for a while. And the elders finally came together and decided. The elders came together and decided that they need to handle this situation. They decided that they needed to deal with these birds. So they went and got one guy, because he was an excellent nation builder, and his name was Chaco. And they gave Chaco the responsibility to go out and get rid of these birds. Because these birds was taking all the food, so now the children was miserable. The parents were miserable. The grandparents were miserable because these birds was taking their food. So they told Chaco, they said, Chaco, we're going to give you the responsibility because the future of the villages lie in your hand. So Chaco came, and Chaco decided the best way to handle it was to find the source of the magic. Because magic, just like any other problem that you're going to experience in your life, can be solved best if you get to the root. So magic, if you found the root of the magic, you can stop the problem. So he figured the birds wasn't the root of the magic. He figured the birds were the symptom of the magic. So he wanted to go and find the root of the magic. So what he did was he got the best trackers. Gye-Nyame people was famous because they were good trackers. And they sent out a tracker from each village to go out and find where these birds come from. Now the birds moved so fast that you couldn't see them, so it took these trackers weeks. And every now and then they would find a broken branch, and they would follow it. And they would find some magic bird poop. And they would follow it, and they would find a little footprint, and they would follow it. And eventually, they all found where the birds were coming from. And guess where they was coming from?
The magic tree.
How did y'all know it was a magic tree? It was a magic tree. It was a magic tree. And they brought it back to Chaco, and they said, Chaco, there's a magic tree. And Chaco said, how you know it's a magic tree? They said, we know this land better than, we know this land like we know the back of our hands, and we especially know all the old trees. And this tree wasn't there last season. This tree is bigger than every tree, and this tree looks older than every tree, and none of us, all the trackers agreed from all the villages that none of us have ever seen this tree before. So the tree must be the magic. It must be magic. So Chaco decides, well, this is an easy problem. So we just going to send somebody to chop down the tree. But I wonder who we are going to send to chop down this tree. You know who we going to send first? Who? That's right. We're going to go to the elders, and we're going to get the elders to chop down the trees because the elders got the most experience. They're going to be able to do it quickly. And since they're dealing with magic, most of the tricks that will come from the tree, the elders will be ready for because they lived a long life they wise enough to deal with the magic. So he gathered all the elders around the sacred campground, and he calls them all, and he says, elders, I've gathered you here today because I have an important mission for you. You know that our villages have been plagued. We have had a problem for months. And the very life of each one of these villages and our children and your grandchildren lie in your hands right now. We need to go out. Better yet, y'all need to go out, because I'm going to stay here at the command center to make sure everything go well. Y'all need to go out to this magic tree and cut down the tree, because I believe that once we get rid of the tree, we get rid of the birds. So the elders at first was kind of like not agreeing, because they like, your logic don't sound right, Sonny. You know what I'm saying? Don't sound right. So Chaco figured he had to get them hyped up. He said, I, like you, am tired of these birds. If you are tired of these birds, let me hear you say yeah. Yeah! If you are you tired of these birds taking your hamburgers? Yeah! Are you tired of these birds taking your pizza? Yeah! Are you tired of these birds taking your broccoli? Yeah! Your goat stew? Yeah! Your hamburgers? Yeah! Your candy? Yeah! Then you must agree with me that these birds got to go. And Chaco stopped, and then he looked at him like I'm looking at you now. He said, the only solution is down with the birds.
Down with the birds! 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 Down with the birds!
Down with the birds! They chanted it and chanted it, and then they broke up and they went and got their axes. They went and got their spears. They went and got their shields. They went and got their bows and arrows. They went and got their swords, and they all came back to the meeting ground, and they all marched out to the tree. And when they got within sight of the tree, they weren't expecting to see what they saw. This was the most beautiful sight that any of them in all of their long lives had ever seen. The birds sitting on the tree with all the different colors made the tree look like it was on fire. The birds was such a beautiful sight sitting on this majestic tree out on top of the hill. So they decided that they knew that they had to chop this tree down, because that truly was a magical sight. So they surrounded the tree, and they put the shields up front. And behind the shields, they put the swords. And behind the swords, they had individuals with spears. And behind them people were the people with the axes. And up farther back was the archers. And they had all set up ready just in case the birds were going to attack. And they slowly moved in on the tree, step by step, watching the birds, making sure that they were not ready to attack. But the birds never moved. Actually, the birds sat there like statues. Every now and then one would move, but they just sat there. And as they got close enough to the tree, they put the shields up over their heads, and from behind, everybody ran the best axe people, and they ran up, and they started chopping at the tree. And they did
Chop! Chop! Chop!
and on the third chop, all the birds looked down at the same time. Then they looked up and they started singing. They started singing a song that was so beautiful and so magical that it stopped the elders in their tracks. Now, this wasn't no ordinary song. This ain't no song that you can turn on and listen to on the radio. This was a song that not only touched their ears, but this song touched their hearts. Because in the song, it was about the elders' past. And the elders fell out into it, and they really got involved with the music. Some of them started to cry. The music was so beautiful. They listened to it as the song reminded them of all the things that they had done, reminded them of all the mistakes that they had made, reminded them of love lost and love found, reminded them of their parents and those people who had passed on. And the song was so beautiful that the elders listened all night. And when the sun rose, they all decided that they could not cut down the tree. So they picked up their shields. They picked up their spears. They picked up their swords. They picked up their bows and arrows. And they picked up their axes. And they walked back to their villages. But they sent one person to Chaco's house. And he walked up to the door and he knocked 3 times. Go ahead, somebody knock.
Knock, knock, knock.
Chaco ran to the door. He opened the door. He was excited. He said, "Come on in, elder. Tell me what happened." And the elder sat down. He gave the elder some coffee. They sat down. They started talking. And the elder said, "Well, I got some good news and some bad news for you. Which one you want first?" He said, "Oh, okay." Chaco said, "Good news first." He said, "Well, we didn't cut down the tree." He said, "How's that good news?" He said, "Look, we decided as elders that any bird, any animal that could sing a song that beautiful cannot be evil. And we refuse to chop down that tree." And at that point in time, Chaco looked at the elder and he saw that the elder had been bewitched by these birds. This means that the man was up, all the elders was up under the spell of this bird. So they didn't care what the birds did no more. So he let the elder go and he started thinking, who can I send now? Because the elders, if the elders failed, and they are the best of us, they are the wisest of us, who can I send now? But the only group that was left for him to send was who?
The kids.
No, the warriors and the nation builders. He sent them out. He sent them out. He called them all to him and he said, "Warriors and nation builders, the very life of our villages is in your hands. And I didn't come to you at first because I didn't think that you would be able to accomplish the mission, because we are dealing with some strong magic. In fact, the magic is so strong that it overcame my elders. So now the fate of the village is in your hand." So he go through his whole thing again. He said, "I know, like me, that you are tired of these birds. Are you tired of these birds taking your food? Are you tired of these birds taking your cream of wheat? Are you tired of them taking your Cocoa Puffs? Are you tired of them taking your Captain Crunch? How about taking your hamburgers? Your French fries? Your pizzas?" So then there's only one conclusion, and that conclusion is very simple. Down with the birds. Down with the birds. Down with the birds.
Down with the birds. Down with the birds. Down with the birds. Down with the birds.
Down with the birds. So he sent out all of the nation builders and the warriors. Take your seat. Take your seat. He sent out all the warriors and the nation builders to this tree. And when they got there, they were shocked. And they set up just like the elders. Shields in front. Swords, spears, and the people with the axe coming in behind. And way in the back was the archers ready to launch the arrows just in case the birds attack. So they moved in slowly with the shields. And as they got closer, they looked up and they noticed how beautiful this tree was. This was the most beautiful tree they ever saw. And with the birds on there, it glowed against the sky. So they moved closer to the tree. And when they got close enough, they raised the shields up above their heads to protect their heads. And the people with the axes jumped up on the tree. And they immediately began to chop.
Chop, chop, chop.
song. And this time, the song caught the warriors and the nation builders. And they immediately stopped. And they dropped the axes. And they dropped the shields. And they dropped the swords. And they dropped the spears. And they dropped their bows and arrows. And they listened to the song. And they started dancing. Because the song, go ahead, go and get up. They started dancing. Having fun. Because the song that the birds sang was about the future and victories to come. The birds sung about love to come. The birds sung about adventures to come. The birds sung about challenges to come. And the warriors and the nation builders got caught up in the magic. Go ahead, grab a seat. So they danced all night. And when the morning came and the sun rised and they were totally exhausted, they talked amongst themselves and they came to the agreement that they could not chop down this tree. So they all picked up their spears, they picked up their swords, they picked up their shields, they picked up their bows and arrows, and lastly they picked up their axes, and they walked back to their villages. And they sent one person to Chaco's house, and he walked up to Chaco's house and he knocked. Chaco jumped up and ran to the door and said, "Man, I'm so glad to see you. Come on in." And he had breakfast prepared. And they sat down and they talked for a minute. And then Chaco said, "Well, how did it go with the tree?" And the nation builder looked at him and said, "Well, Chaco, I got some good news and some bad news." You want the good news or bad news first? Well, the bad news is we didn't cut down the tree. Chaco said, "Yeah, that is bad." So what's the good news? The good news is that we decided we wasn't going to chop down the tree. Chaco said, "What?" And he was about to argue with the man about how the bird has been taking food out of your children's mouths, how the birds have been tormenting the people. And Chaco said, "I'm not even going to argue," because he looked at the man and he saw that the man had been bewitched by the birds. And all of the warriors and the nation builders were up under this spell. Chaco let him go, and for a second, Chaco felt so bad that he wanted to cry because he didn't know what to do now. He didn't know what to do now because the elders had failed, the warriors and the nation builders had failed. That's basically the grandparents and the parents have failed the village. Who else can he depend on to go out and get this tree?
The children.
It just so happened that outside Chaco's window, I'll wait. Outside Chaco's window, some kids was outside playing. And he looked and he thought about it. He said, "I guess I don't have anything to lose. I know the elders and the nation builders and the warriors won't like it, but I'm going to have to get the kids to help me. And I'm going to have to go out this time." So he told one of the kids, he said, "Come here. I want you to go gather all the children at the sacred meeting grounds. But make sure you don't tell your grandparents or your parents. Y'all come in secret." So all the kids go. And they spread the secret around. They all gather at the camp, at the meeting grounds. And Chaco walks up to the stage and he says, "Children, the future of our villages are in your hands. The elders, your grandparents, and your parents have failed you. They have all filled up under the spell of this bird. And the only people left for me to call is you. And I need you to come with me. Because we have a mission. we have to destroy the tree that is causing us all this grief. How many of you are tired like me? If you're tired like me of these birds taking your food, say yeah. Are you tired of these fools taking your candy? Are you tired of these birds taking your pizza? Are you tired of them taking your burritos? Are you tired of them taking your goat? Are you tired of them taking your soup? Are you tired of them taking your vegetables? Then there's only one solution, and that solution is down with the birds. Down with the birds.
Down with the birds! 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 Down with the birds!
Down with the birds! So, all the children ran out. All the children ran out, and they grabbed axes, and they grabbed spears. I wait. They grabbed spears. They grabbed shields. And lastly, they grabbed the bows and arrows. And they met Chaco back at the meeting grounds, and Chaco led them out. And as they marched towards where the tree was, and they eventually was able to see the tree, the kids were amazed by the sight of the tree. Because up against the skyline, it looked like the tree was on fire. The birds were so beautiful. The birds were so beautiful. The children saw the tree, and they all dropped the spears, and they all dropped their swords, and they all dropped the shields, and they just ran towards the tree. They ran towards the tree because the tree was so beautiful. And they ran up to the tree, and they immediately started chopping. The birds, all at the same time, looked down and started singing. And the song didn't stop the kids, and the kids kept chopping. So the birds changed the song and started singing another song, but the kids kept on chopping. And the birds tried to sing louder, but the children kept chopping. And the birds kept trying to sing, and they sung louder, and the kids kept chopping. Now, the whole time that this was going on, Chaco was watching. And when the birds sung the first song, Chaco started crying like one of the elders. Then when they sung the second song, he started dancing like the warriors of the nation builders because he fell up under the spell. But the children didn't fall up under the spell. And when they started singing louder, he just basically passed out. But finally, when the children got done chopping, go ahead. The birds stopped singing. And all the children gathered around the back of the tree. And Chaco said, push! And the children said on 3. 1, 2, 3. Timber! The tree fell. But the birds didn't move. And the kids weren't scared. So all the kids ran to the tree, and they grabbed one of the birds that looked like a statue. And as they picked up the bird turned into light, and it lit the child up because the bird's magic went into the children. But it wasn't bad magic. Now, as they went back home, Chaco sent the children out to go tell the elders and the warriors and the nation builders to meet them at the sacred campground, the secret meeting place. And everybody came. And they was looking around at the kids celebrating. They asked the kids, why y'all celebrating? And Chaco went on stage and said, we're celebrating because your children have succeeded where you have failed. He said the children did not fall up under the spell of the birds. The birds fell up under the spell of the children. Because the children didn't get caught in the past as the elders did, and because they wasn't so caught into the future like the nation builders and the warriors, and because they was able to focus on now, they were able to do what all you adults could not. So every day we will celebrate these children. Now this is what's special about those children. Those children like you absorbed the magic of the birds. And this group of kids became the generation of the Gye-Nyame people that would change them forever. Because these kids all were brilliant after that day. And that's the end of the story.
That's the end of the story.
Y'all say bye.
Bye! Can I say the end?
Go ahead.
The end.
I'm Councilmember Shayla Favor, and today we're going to be reading the 7 days of Kwanzaa. December 26th is the first day of Kwanzaa. The principle, Umoja, which means unity. Call your father, call your mother, call your sister, call your brother. It's Kwanzaa time, family time. It's Kwanzaa time, family time. African American people pulling together, Harambe, trying to make things better. 7 days and 7 nights, 7 candles we will light. 7 days, 7 candles we will light. December 27th is the second day of Kwanzaa. The principle is Kujula, which means self-determination. Relatives come to visit. The cousins say, Harambe. We make mekamats. It's fun working together. It's Kwanzaa time, family time. It's Kwanzaa time, family time. December 28th is the third day of Kwanzaa. The principle is Ujamaa, which means working together. We sweep the yard. We paint the gate. Everything looks better. We are pulling together. We are pulling together. We are pulling together. Oh yes, we are. December 29th is the fourth day of Kwanzaa. The principle, Ujamaa, which means sharing profit. We go to Malcolm's market. Malcolm asks, Habari Gani, what's the news? We say Ujamaa. Mama buys corn and sweet potatoes. 1 potato, 2 potato. 3 potato, sweet. 4 potato, 5 potato. 6 potato, eat. December 30th is the 5th day of Kwanzaa. The principle is Nia, which means purpose. Here's how we light the candles. First the black, next a red, then a green, then another red, and then another green. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. December 31st is the 6th day of Kwanzaa. The principle is Kiumba, which means creativity. Everyone plays I've Got the Spirit. Grandma beats a drum, Papa claps. Everyone dances to the rhythm. I've got the spirit, hey, hey. I've got the spirit, ashe, ashe. I've got the spirit, hey, hey. I've got kuumba, ashe, ashe. We dance and sing until we are all tired out. January 1st is the 7th day of Kwanzaa. The principle is Imani, which means faith. We light all 7 candles. Grandpa tells a story of how our people came from Africa long ago. He says, may we all live by the Nguzo Saba, the 7 principles of Kwanzaa. Keep the faith. That's the thing to do. Believe in yourself and your family too. Keep Imani in your heart. Keep Imani in your soul. Imani is more precious than diamonds or gold. Happy Kwanzaa.
Watch the next video. Watch the next video. Watch the next video. No, I'm just joking, family. Family, thank you for joining us. Be sure to catch us on the next video, family. Peace. Watch the next video. Watch.
PRI, Public Radio International.
Welcome. Greetings. Alafia. Welcome to A Season's Griot. I am your host, Madafo Lloyd Wilson. On behalf of all of us here at WHQR Public Media in Wilmington, North Carolina, I greet you. And in the tradition of those who came before us, our ancestors, thank you very much. Asante Sana for tuning in to A Season's Griot. I've known rivers, ancient dusky rivers. My soul has grown deep like the rivers. I've known rivers, ancient dusky rivers. My soul has grown deep like the rivers. Kwanzaa is a time of celebration, thanksgiving, and reflection. It is a time of ingathering, a time when family, friends, neighbors, and loved ones come together to give thanks for all of the blessings bestowed throughout the year. Blessings of children, health, laughter, and love. During the celebration of Kwanzaa, homage is paid to the ancestors and their indomitable spirits. We honor the elders whose wisdom continues to light the paths before us. And as a community, we tell the stories to our children that give them a keener sense of self and direction, that contain the history as well as the principles and values of the people. When we celebrate Kwanzaa, we acknowledge the good within, handed down from the past and passed on to the coming generations. It is in such ways the children are taught their responsibility to themselves, their families, and community. Kwanzaa was created in 1965 by Dr. Maulana Ron Karenga. He chose 7 principles as the core value system for celebrating this African American holiday. Because of the growing popularity of Kwanzaa, these 7 principles, or Nguzo Saba, for millions of Africans throughout the diaspora, are embraced as a way of life. Kwanzaa is celebrated for 7 days, beginning December 26th and ending January 1st, keeping in mind that this is a cultural celebration and void of political persuasions, religious affiliation, and hero worship. Kwanzaa includes everyone. During each of the 7 days of celebration, the ingathering brings the community together to acknowledge the past, give thanks for the present, and plan for the future. It is a joyous time. Each of the 7 days of Kwanzaa reflects the principle of that day.
Umoja, unity. African people are inextricably connected. Though some of us were dropped off in Boston, while others were sold to the plantation owners in Virginia, North and South Carolina, and still others of us became maroons in the hills of Jamaica and Haiti. The spirit of Mother Africa sings sweetly to the souls of her children wherever African people reside. Umoja is the first of 7 and most compelling of the Nguzo Saba, for without the concept of unity, all the other principles are unlikely. Kujichagulia, self-determination. There are those of us who, because of years of indoctrination, miseducation, and misinformation, are conditioned to think and believe all Africans, past and present, were slaves. In fact, when we speak of our African selves, our African ancestry, oftentimes we refer to them in terms of an era when African people were kidnapped, stuffed into the bottom of ships, chained in shackles, and with the aid of the Middle Passage, distributed throughout the world and placed in a condition of slavery. Know thyself, El-Hajj Malik El-Shabazz. If you have a knowledge of self and understand the glorious history of which you are part of, then you also know that even though we were placed in a condition of slavery, we are still and foremost an African people, even as much as we refer to ourselves as slave. Ujamaa, collective work and responsibility. The survival of African people through a dark and tumultuous time is successful because our ancestors understood Harambe, the need to pull together as family, in a community, and as a nation. Therefore, as a collective, we become united in our determination to be responsible within an African-centered worldview. Ujamaa, cooperative economics. Working together for the benefit of the group and pooling resources makes sense. It's common sense. Nia, purpose. Education fuels the imagination, gives hope, and allows the child possibilities. Every generation is the custodian of a timeless legacy, which it is bound to embrace, nurture, and pass on to the coming generations. Kuumba, creativity. Always improving, moving forward, making what we have better, doing everything we can in every way we can to give our children all they need to understand their responsibility to themselves, their families, communities, and nation. Imani, faith. We are the conscience of all the generations who came before us, and the spirit of the ones to come. Therefore, trust in ourselves, our elders, and leaders is essential as we strive to move our community forward while maintaining an African frame of reference.
If you have visited Cambridge, Massachusetts, and had the privilege of visiting the local square, then you have experienced a crowd of people being awed by a barefooted, blue-clad, butterfly-adorned storyteller known as Brother Blue. Here he is. Enjoy.
Angels and War. That's 4 books right there. What I went through in the war. It's too big a subject, war. It can bring out the worst in men. Bring out the best, too, sometimes. My experience of the war is the story of the black man in America. You'd think I'd be proud I served my country. Well, to be honest with you, I'm ashamed I participated in it. I'm ashamed to have been a black soldier in a segregated army. Better I would have died for my rights, the rights of my brothers and sisters right here in this country. Oh, I saw war. I saw death, the death of my comrades. I held it in my arms. I've seen graves on graves on graves. I've seen areas where all the trees were all gone. There was so much fire, all the trees were shot down. Guns shot those trees down. I smelled the smell of gunpowder in my nostril. I hated that smell. I hated the firing range, shooting at those targets. That's the worst kind of discipline you can practice. I might as well have been shooting myself. I hated the sight of guns. Even now, when I see a policeman with that gun on his hip, I think, how can he bear that? It's too much to carry around a thing like that. By the way, a lot of men love guns. Knives and daggers, too. You'd be surprised how many men love to kill. I hated the sound of the gun in my ear. Maybe think of the time I almost lost my father. To this day, my hearing is impaired from the sound of the firing range. So when we got orders to sail to Europe in 2 weeks, time to join the other forces to make the big move, the big invasion, I thought, well, this could be it. Playtime is over. I thought for sure, with my luck, I'm going to die in this war, in a segregated army that treats us like we're nothing, then sends us forth to die. To me, the way this country treated its black people was a disgrace. Brought us here on ships as slaves. Now they want to ship us abroad to shed our blood, die, for this country that treats us this way. Underneath my well-mannered self, underneath my non-threatening facade, I felt a rage boiling up inside. Many of my men were so used to the degradation, they didn't know there could be any other way. My company was based in the South. I won't say where, but at that time the South was like apartheid South Africa. Everything was segregated. The double standard was laid out naked for all to see. Any place you went, a restaurant, a bus, a bathroom, an army base, it was whites only, blacks over here. Whites only, blacks keep out. I remember the first time I went to a segregated theater. I did what I was supposed to do. I sat up in the balcony. I never should have done it. We never should have done it. So there I was, about to go over to fight for this country. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, I'm prepared to die. They readied me for that. But if I were to choose my battlefield, why not choose this place? Why not fall in America, right here in the South, in a fight for justice, be recognized as a man equal to any other man? Because if I die overseas, if I'm to spill my blood over there, I wouldn't be able to lay down my life for justice in this country. Why not do it right here? That's a war I feel like fighting. Then send me over to Europe, and I'll serve this country with pride in my heart. I decided to actually do it. I decided to make a stand, stage a war right here, fight my own battle. The week before we were to sail off to Europe, I went and said goodbye to my mother and father and my sister. Then I took a weekend furlough. I decided the battleground for this war was going to be a bus. I planned a trip from the town where we were stationed to another town a little further down the coast. Now keep in mind that at that time in the South, if you were black, you had to sit in the back of the bus by law. You had to sit in the back of the bus. This was long before that great brave woman, Rosa Parks, did what she did. Long before the civil rights actions woke a sleeping nation. To do what I was about to do was to stare death right in the face, no exaggeration. That morning, I shaved, put on my uniform, packed a bag, and had Ernie drive me to the bus stop. After a short while, a bus pulls up. I can see the bus is fairly crowded. I get on. There are 2 empty seats right behind the driver. I think, okay, this is my moment of declaration. I sit down right there in the front row in the seat by the window. The bus driver, the whole bus, everything freezes. People stop breathing. I think to myself, I'm not going to move. The only way I'll get off this bus, they're going to have to carry me off. The bus driver looks in the mirror. I can see his eyes. He's got these steely gray eyes. He sees mine, too. I look right straight back in his eye. He knew something when he saw me, 'cause there's a look that comes in the eye of someone who's ready to die, who welcomes death, who doesn't care. He must have thought, this boy, this Negro is obviously gone crazy. He must want to die. He knew there was no point in even speaking to me. He wasn't going to move that bus. I wasn't getting off that seat. Nobody moved. Then onto the bus comes this young lady. Ooh, pretty. She's a white lady. The prettiest eyes you ever saw. Long, silky, reddish hair. She sits down in the seat beside me, gently, sweetly. Then a white man behind me taps this lady on the shoulder and says, "Miss, you can have my seat if you wish." There were no more seats left on the front of the bus. He glances over at me, then turns to him and says, "No, this is perfectly all right." The bus driver looks in the mirror again, straight in my eye. It was like high noon. This dude's staring me down, saying something with his cold eyes. His eyes are saying something like, "I'm not going to move this bus till you get off. That's it. I'll get the police. It's against the law for you to sit there. I'll have you arrested. You will be taken off bodily if need be." I was hoping somebody would come and get me. I wanted them to get me. Get something going here. Drag me off to prison. Shoot me. Something that would shake the world a little. Wake the world a little. Somebody else gets up a couple of rows back. Walks up to the front. I'm thinking, all right, this is it now. Draw your guns. I'm ready. Somebody's got to take a stand. The man says, "Miss, I'd be glad to give you my seat." In other words, he was saying, as a Southern gentleman, I will take this obligation off you. You don't have to sit next to this subhuman. She looks up at the man and says, "No, this is perfectly all right. I'm fine here." The way she said it, her voice, at least the way it sounds to me now through the passage of all these years, her voice was like the voice of an angel. It's as though an angel stepped on that bus in order to say, now is not the time for this. I wanted them to shoot me, so people could read in the paper a black officer died on a bus in the South. They shot him for sitting in the front row. He was on his way overseas to fight for his country. All of a sudden, the bus engine started up. The bus driver looks at me in the mirror. Then he looks over at this woman. I don't know her name. I'll call her Miss No Name. He looks in her eyes, 'cause he has to deal with her now. This strong woman who, without any preparation, decided to go against the weight of the world, against the law, against tradition, against all these men and their ways. The bus started moving, in defiance of an ordinance that reigned all across the South. That bus started moving. People got on. People got off. It was a long ride. Miss No Name just sat there next to me. She sat there. She sat there. She sat there. Didn't say a word. Just looked straight ahead. Till finally, when the bus got to my stop, I got up and said, "Thank you." And she smiled. She smiled. I don't know where she came from or where she was going. But of all the things that happened to me in the Army, in that war, in England, in France, in the South Pacific, past all the danger and fighting and all the inequities, I remember this woman. Amongst all those memories, I see an angel on a bus, riding through the streets of the South, sitting down for justice. Miss No Name, if you're out there, I'd like to know your name. I'd like to see you and say thank you. You didn't have to do it. It wasn't your fight. You were just going to a job or visiting your parents. You didn't ask for that. You could have gotten up. You could have moved, but you insisted. You got me through, you know that? That's how much one human being can mean to another. At a time when I was so angry, you gave me hope that decency and love would overcome. Way before I heard the words, deep in my heart I do believe love shall overcome someday. Way before the Civil Rights Movement, you helped me overcome the hatred, overcome many of the things that got in my way. You helped me to recognize the occasional angel, no matter the color of skin, who bursts forth from time to time, like light through the darkness of war. Because of you, I couldn't hate all white people. Because of you, despite all the history, all the suffering and hatred and denial, I do believe America can be, will be beautiful someday.
There's more to come on A Season's Griot from PRI, Public Radio International. Welcome back to A Season's Griot from PRI, Public Radio International. I'm Madafo.
Well, oh, well, it's storytelling time. Well, oh, well, it's storytelling time.
Linda Goss is a storyteller known the world over as one of the most prolific, creative, and respected storytellers alive. Here she is, telling one of our favorites. Hope you like it.
Well, Brother Madafu, I'm going to tell you about this little frog. And this little frog is very frustrated. And you know why he's so frustrated? It's because he has talent. Now, we all got talent, but just because we got it don't mean everybody wants to see and hear it. Well, this little frog felt that he had talent. As a matter of fact, he wanted to be a singer. Now I ask you, have you ever heard of a frog singing before? Ribbit? But this frog was burning with desire to just sing his song. And one day, all this frustration started bubbling inside him, and there's something about frustration that has to come out. And so one day, those frustration bubbles started popping out of his eyes, popping out of his nose, popping out of his mouth, and he said to himself, you know, I'm tired of feeling this way. I'm tired of holding all this inside me. I want to be a singer. Yeah, I'm going to sing. And so that little frog decided to share his dreams with his parents. He said, Mama, Daddy, you know, I want to be a singer. Now they looked at him And even though they had never heard of a frog singing before, this was their child. And so they encouraged him. They said, son, you can do it. You can be anything you want to be. So this gave the frog some confidence. Yeah. And he said, now you know something? Maybe I should talk to the birds. Now in the forest, the birds were considered the most beautiful, the most talented singers all over the place. And so the frog decided to ask them if he could join their group. He gathered up his confidence. He hopped over to their tree trunk, and he said, knock, 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 knock. Oh, birds, it's me, the frog. Can I hop up? Well, the head bird looked out of the treehouse and says, oh, it's you, frog. Yes, please hop up and join us. Yes, I'll take a seat over there in the corner. Way over there in the corner. Well, the frog sat down and he got kind of quiet because he started losing some of that confidence. So way after a while, the head bird said, frog, why have you come to see us? How may we help you? Well, you see, said the frog, I want to join your group. That's wonderful, said the head bird. As a matter of fact, we could use some help. You can help us carry our worms, okay? Ooh, carry your worm. No, said the frog. That's not what I had in mind. Oh, no, said the head bird. Well, frog, what do you have in mind? Well, you see, I want to sing with your group. Sing, an ugly-looking thing like you. You have warts all over you. Get out of our home. Get. Oh, those birds surrounded that frog. They picked him up and they threw him from their treehouse. Oh, when he got home, he felt so bad. He was aching deep inside himself. You might say that frog had the blues. Doo-ba, doo-ba-doo, feeling kind of blue. Down and low, don't know where to go. Doo-ba, doo-ba-doo, feeling kind of blue. Down and low, don't know where to go. But I gotta stay strong, and I'm gonna hop along, 'cause this frog has got to sing his song. Now that frog wanted to cry, but that frog did not shed one tear. Instead, he began to practice and practice and practice and practice. And then he began to think, now, you know, those birds sing every Friday night at the big time weekly concert. But they're not in charge of it. Brother Fox is. And so the frog decided to go and see Brother Fox. He knocked on his cave. Knock, 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 knock. Oh, Brother Fox, it's me, the frog. I got something I want to ask you. The fox looks out and says, okay, frog, what do you want? Oh, Brother Fox, I want to be on the concert this Friday night. What can you do? I want to sing. Sing? Get out here. Get. Oh, please, Brother Fox, please give me a chance. Said the fox. You know something? Perhaps I could use you, frog. Why don't you show up 8 o'clock sharp, okay? I'm going to put you on first, okay? Well, when the frog heard this, he was so happy. He just lit up inside. He just couldn't be still. And before he knew it, Monday rolled around, Tuesday rolled around, Wednesday rolled around, Thursday rolled around, and finally it was Friday. The frog bathed all that day. He bathed his green little fingers. He scrubbed his green little toes. And he brushed his green little hair. And he parted it in the middle and slicked down the sides. That frog was looking good. And then he looked down at his reflection in the pond. And it was as though he was seeing himself for the very first time. And that frog said, I am beautiful, and tonight I'm going to do my thing. Well, before he knew it, it was 7:15, 7:30, 7:45, and almost 8 o'clock. And the animals were coming in. But the frog was backstage. He was so nervous he couldn't be still. He was just shaking, and before he knew it, Brother Fox came out onto the stage to start the show. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, yes, thank you. Presenting for the first time on the stage, the frog who thinks He's a singer. Come on, let's clap, 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 clap. Yay, yay, yay. Well, the frog came out. He saw his parents. They were sitting on the front row. Oh, they were clapping. They were so proud of him. But the other animals, oh, they were roaring with laughter. And the frog took the microphone. He was so nervous. He opened his mouth and he says, ah, ah, ah. And before that frog could put the period at the end of that sentence, before he could get out a word, the elephant jumped up. I don't hear no frog sing. He grabbed a pineapple and threw it, hit that frog right there in the head. Wow! Then the lion jumped up. I don't hear no frog sing. He grabbed a banana and threw it, hit that frog right there in the mouth. Woo! Soon the animals were booing that frog. Boo, 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 boo. Get off the stage. Boo, boo, boo. You jive turkey. We don't want you to sing. Boo! They booed that poor little frog right off the stage. He had to hide under the stage. Oh, well, Brother Fox rushed back on. Calm down, calm down, calm down. Okay, just take a seat. Take a seat. Now, presenting for your entertainment, the birds who really can sing. Don't worry about that frog. He will never, ever be a singer. Birds, come on, quick, quick, quick. Well, the birds flew out, and they began to tweet and whistle. Well, the animals were used to this. And so the elephant said, that's more like it. That is what we want to hear. Everyone was resting peacefully except that frog. That frog was tired of being pushed around. That frog was tired of being frustrated. He jumped back on that stage. He grabbed that microphone from the birds and said, now listen here. I came here to sing a song tonight. I have a dream inside me. I have a song and I'm going to let it out. I don't care if you don't want to hear it. I don't care if you are asleep. I'm going to wake you up. And even though that frog was nervous, he took a deep breath and in the style of what we now call the boogie woogie, he began to bellow out his tune. Do ba 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 do 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 ba bop de bop brah. Well, the elephant heard that. The elephant opened one eye, and then she opened the other eye, and she said, Frog, is that you? The frog started do ba 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 do ba. The elephant jumped up on the stage. She started swinging her hips from side to side, doing a dance we now call the bump. Then the lion jumped up. Hey, I like that sound. Frog, is that you? The lion started shaking his body this away and that away and every which way, doing a dance we now call the twist. Do ba 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 do ba. Soon the snakes were boogalooing and the giraffes were doing the jerk. The hyena started doing the slop, and Brother Fox said, hey, I'm going to do something. And Brother Fox started doing the mashed potatoes. Even the birds wanted to join in. We want to do-ba-do-ba-do-ba-do-ba too. Tweet, 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 do-ba. Tweet, 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 do-ba-do-ba-do-ba-do-ba-do-ba-do-ba. Tweet, 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 do-ba. Soon the whole forest was rocking, the joint was jumping, the animals were snapping their fingers, they were moving their feet, they were doing something that they had never done before. They were dancing. And Brother Fox came back on the stage, he grabbed the mic, he shouted, wow, Frog, you are a genius. You have given us something new. Well, from then on, the frog was allowed to sing every Friday night at the Big Time Weekly Concert. And as my granddaddy Murphy used to say, honey child, that is how rhythm and blues was born. Do ba 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 bop de bop. And all of us have that frog inside of us. We all have the ability to share our talents with the world. And let's remember that, Frog. And remember that even though we may be frustrated, we have to let it out. We have to practice Kuji Chakalia, self-determination, because that's what the frog had, and that's what got him through. Do ba 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 do.
One day, Brett Fox and Brer Bear were sitting around in the woods, and they were talking about what they were going to do to the rabbit. What's they called him? Brett Fox leaned over to Brer Bear. He said,
Brer Bear, that rabbit getting too sassy. I don't like the way he come lippity-clippity down the road like he's something. When I catch that rabbit, I go pluck out all he mustaches.
well, you know what? That ain't nothing, cuz you know what I gonna do? When I catch that rabbit, I gonna take my fist and knock his head clean off. Well, that's the way the talk went all the day long. The two of them sitting around bragging about what they were going to do to the rabbit once they caught him. Well, by and by, Brett Fox comes up with an idea, and right away they set to put it into motion. Now, this is what they did. First off, they went and got themselves a big wad of tar, and they made it into the shape like a baby, gave it some arms and some legs and a head and a stomach. And then to really make that thing look like it was for real, old Brett Fox snatched some of the hair off the back of Brer Bear and stuck it on the head of the thing. Then Brett Fox said,
Brer Bear, help me carry this thing over by the big road.
Old Brer Rabbit shows to see it once it come hopping along. And that's what they did. They carried that thing and they sat it under a tree, made it sit there and look like it was waiting in the shade. And after they did that, they hurried over to the other side of the road and hid themselves in the bushes so nobody could see them. And they didn't have to wait long either, because after a short while, they heard someone coming up the road. And he was whistling, humming, and singing. Right away, they knew who it was, Brer Rabbit, just as frisky as old chicken. All of a sudden, Brer Rabbit spies that tar baby.
Howdy!
But the tar baby didn't say anything. So Brer Rabbit said it a little louder than before.
I says, howdy do. What's the matter with you? Is you deaf or something?
If he is, I can holler louder. But the tar baby still wouldn't say anything. And old Brer Fox and Brer Bear, they lay low in the bushes. We got him. Brer Rabbit hasn't caught on to what's going on. So old Brer Rabbit looked at that tar baby. He says, don't you know how to say howdy like spectable folks say when they meets on the road? If you don't say howdy by the time I count to 3, I'm going to take my fist and blip you in the nose. Well, the tar baby still didn't say anything, so old Brer Rabbit started to count. 1, 2, 3. And old Brer Rabbit took his fist and he reeled it around in the and he blip right upside that tar baby's head. But his fist got stuck in the tar, and he couldn't pull it loose. And old Brer Rabbit said, you better let my fist go. If you don't let my fist go, I'm going to hit you with the other fist. Tar baby still didn't say anything, so old Brer Rabbit wound up real good with that other fist, and he smacked him upside the head with the other fist. But that fist got stuck in the tar too, and there old Brer Rabbit was with both fists all stuck up in the tar, and he could not pull them loose. And old Brer Fox and Brer Bear, they chuckle way down deep in their stomachs like this. Brer Rabbit still hasn't caught on to what's going on. And old Brer Rabbit looked at that tar baby and says, if you don't let my fist go, I'm going to take my behind foots and I'm going to kick you so hard your teeth go fall out on the ground. Tar Baby still didn't say anything. So old Brer Rabbit took his behind foot and he kicked that Tar Baby. Ka-loom! But it got stuck in the tar. So old Brer Rabbit kicked with the other behind foot. And there old Brer Rabbit was with both fists and both behind feet all stuck up in the tar, and he could not pull them loose. Brer Fox and Brer Bear, they're doing all they can now to keep from giving themselves away. Like that. Brer Rabbit still hasn't caught on to what's going on. So Brer Rabbit looked at that Tar Baby. He says, I'm going to give you one last chance to turn me loose. If you don't turn me loose this time, I'm going to take my head and butt you so hard, all the breath going to leave out of your body. Tar Baby still wouldn't say a word. So old Brer Rabbit stretched his neck back as far as he could, and he butt that Tar Baby. His head got stuck in the tar, and he couldn't pull it loose. And old Brer Rabbit pushed, he pulled, he screamed, and he squirmed. But no matter how hard Brer Rabbit tried to get unstuck up, the more stuck up he got stuck up. Brer Rabbit was so stuck up in that tar, he could scarcely move his eyeballs. Well, old Brer Fox and Brer Bear see what's happening, and they come out of the bushes feeling really good, jumping up and down and celebrating, picking at old Brer Rabbit.
Ha! Brer Rabbit, I told you we was gonna get you.
Yeah, Brer Rabbit, you've been bossing us around this neighborhood all these years. Now we got you. I'm gonna take my fist and knock your head clean off. And old Brer Bear reached back with that big powerful paw to hit Brer Rabbit. But Brer Fox jumped up and he said,
Wait a minute, Brer Bear. Wait a minute, Brer Bear. That's too quick and easy. We gotta make him suffer a little bit. I tell you what let's do. Let's build us a fire. And when it's nice and hot, we'll drop him in it and roast him. How you like that?
Well, old Brer Fox and Brer Bear started picking up pieces of wood to start their fire. And while they were doing that, Brer Rabbit was scared. He was shaking, he was shivering, and he was sweating. But one thing about that rabbit, even though he was frightened, even though he was afraid, he was always thinking. He always had that mind going. And pretty soon, he came up with an idea. Well, Brer Fox and Brer Bear came back to light the fire, and old Brer Rabbit says, Hey, wait a minute. Listen, why don't you light the fire on this side of me? 'Cause that would burn quicker, see? You know, please, you can roast me just as hot as you can, but don't chunk me over in the briar patch. I didn't mean to tell you that, but please, you can do anything. You can cut my feet off. You can cut my head off. You can burn me. You can do anything, but please don't chunk me over in the briar patch. Said Brer Bear. He ain't even scared of being roasted.
Yeah. Well, we just have to do something else to him then. I know. Let's throw him over in the briar patch.
Yeah, that's a good idea, Red Fox. Come on, let's do that. So they grabbed the rabbit by his ears, pulled him out of the tar, and flung him over into the deepest part of the briar patch where all those juicy stickleberries and thorns were. And you should have heard the noise, the sounds, the cries that came out of that briar patch where the rabbit landed. It was terrible. Ow! Ouch! Ow! Just... Ow! Oi! Ouch! Ow! All of a sudden, all of the ooching and the ouching came to a quiet whisper. Sounded like old Brer Rabbit was about to die. And old Brer Fox and Brer Bear looked at each other. They patted each other on the shoulder. big broad grin came on their face, and they started to celebrate and sing. Old Brer Rabbit ain't gonna be sassy no more. Old Brer Rabbit ain't gonna be bossy no more. Old Brer Rabbit ain't gonna do nothing no more. This is the end. Brer Rabbit is dead. And they were jumping around, having themselves a good time, just celebrating about old Brer Rabbit. While they were celebrating, they heard some rustling in the bushes way over on the other side of the briar patch. And they looked, and who do you think they see scurrying from under the bushes at the other end of the briar patch? That's right, old Brer Rabbit, just as frisky as old Cricket, laughing and singing and combing the last bit of tar out of his mustache with a piece of briar bush. And Brer Rabbit looked up, he says, "Hey there, Brer Fox. What's up, Brer Bear? I told you not to chunk me in the bushes." I told you not to chunk me in that briar patch. You see, the briar patch is the one place I love more than any in this whole wide world. I was born in the briar patch. They threw me in the briar patch. And that's the story of Brer Rabbit and the Tar Baby. We'll be right back with more of A Season's Griot from PRI, Public Radio International. Welcome back to A Season's Griot from PRI, Public Radio International. I'm Madafo.
In Search of Our Modern Griots by Beverly Fields Burnett. Who'll be the next modern griot appearing in our midst? Will you be the next historian on our noble list to share the lessons that guide the tribe, revealing family legacies for all to abide? Who'll teach the young the wholesome ways or secret trails that will amaze? Who'll share the lessons that will save our lot, or stories that teach us what to do or not? Are you the chosen one to advise the flock, the one who's our ancient library without door locks? Will you be the griot who brings the beat of the djembe drum, or soothe souls with a kora when the day is done? Though violent days still circle about, a modern-day griot will appear without a doubt. Be ye man or woman with a staff or a robe, one draped in kente cloth or dashiki with the wisdom of Job, your words will be welcomed to stem the tide, to give hope during trying times when we require your guide. O modern griot, receive the grand banner of old. We await your regal words of African gold. Keep us turned toward our ancient wisdoms as you dance our modern rhythms. Give us proverbs that lead us toward knowledge and hope. Help us to succeed, show us how we should cope. Please, modern griot, keep our ancient will intact. Show us how to receive and then to give back. Let your honor prevail as your community debt, and we'll know you've arrived by your distinct drumbeat set. And we'll know you've arrived by your distinct drumbeat set. Drumbeat set. Drumbeat set.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Capel, also known as Granddaddy Junebug. I'm a professional storyteller, been at this since 1985. Thanks to good folks like Madafo Lloyd Wilson and Brother Blue and Baba Jamal Karam and I have a lot of good mentors, and my father and my grandfather and my mother and my grandmothers, all great storytellers. I come from a long line of storytellers. So that's what's important about the griot, knowing your history and knowing the culture and continuing on this oral tradition of passing on mores and all the great stories about people's families and what have you. And it's nothing more than I love than sitting back with old friends and talking about old times and how we grew up and what have you. So anyway, I'm Mitch Capel, also known as Granddaddy Junebug, storyteller. Paul Laurence Dunbar, a Negro love song. Seen my lady home last night, jump back, honey, jump back. Held her hand and I squeezed it tight. Jump back, honey, jump back. Heard her sigh, a little sigh. Seen a light gleam from her eye, and a smile go flitting by. Jump back, honey, jump back. Heard the wind blow through the pine. Jump back, honey, jump back. Mockingbird was a singing fine. Jump back, honey, jump back. And my heart was beating so when I reached my lady's door that I couldn't bear to go. Jump back, honey, jump back. So I put my arm around her waist. Jump back, honey, jump back. Raised her lips and I took a taste. Jump back, honey, jump back. Love me, honey, love me true. Love me much as I love you. And she answered, course I do. Jump back, honey, jump back. Little Brown Baby by Paul Laurence Dunbar. Little brown baby with sparkling eyes, come to your pappy and sit on his knee. What you been doing, sir? Making sand pies. Ooh, look at that bib, you's as dirty as me. Look at that mouth. That's molasses, I bet. Let me get something and wipe off his hands. Bees gonna catch him and eat him up yet. Being so sticky and sweet, goodness lands. Little brown baby with sparkling eyes, who's pappy's darling and who's pappy's child? Who is it all today never once tries for to be cross or once loses that smile? Where did you get them teeth? Oh, my, you's a scamp. And where did that dimple come from in your chin? Your pappy don't know you. I believe you's a tramp. Hey, this here some old straggler done got in. Let's throw him out the door in the sand. We don't want no stragglers a-laying round here. Let's give him way to the big booger man. I know he's laying round here right near. Booger man, come in the door. Here's a bad boy you can have for to eat. Me and his mama don't want him no more. Swallow him down from his head to his feet. Oh, I thought you'd hug me up close. Go away, old booger, you shan't have this here boy. He ain't no scamp or no straggler, of course. He's grandpappy's partner and playmate and joy. Come to your pallet now. Go to your rest. Wish you could always know ease and clear skies. Wish you could stay just a child on my breast. Little brown baby with sparkling eyes. In the Morning by Paul Laurence Dunbar. Lies, lies, bless the Lord. Don't you know the days abroad? If you don't get up, you scamp, they be trouble in this here camp. Think I going to let you sleep whilst I makes your board and keep. That's a pretty howdy do. Don't you hear me, lies? You bet if I come cross this floor, you won't find no time to snow. Daylight all a-shining in whilst you sleep. Why, it's a sin. Ain't the candle life enough to burn down without a snuff? But you going the morning through burning up the daylight too? Lies? Don't you hear me call? No use turning towards that wall. I can hear that matter squeak. Don't you hear me when I speak? This here clock done struck off 6. Kayleen, bring me them there sticks. Oh, you're down, sir. Huh, you're down. Look here, Don't you dare to frown. March yourself and wash your face. And don't you splatter all the place. I got something else to do besides just cleaning after you. And take that comb and fix your head. Look just like a feather bed. Look here, boy. I'll let you see you shan't roll your eyes at me. Come here and bring me that air strap. Boy, I'll whip you till you drap. You done felt yourself too strong, and you surely got me wrong. Now sit down at that table there, and just you whimper if you dare. Ever moaning on this place seem like I must lose my grace. Now fold your hands and bow your head. Wait until the blessing said. Lord, have mercy on our souls. Don't you dare to touch them rolls. Bless this food we going to eat. You sit still. I'll see your feet. You just try that trick again. Give us peace and joy. Amen. In the morning. All right. The Seedling by Paul Laurence Dunbar. As a quiet little seedling lay within its darksome bed, to itself it fell a-talking, and this is what it said. I am not so very robust, but I'll do the best I can. And that seedling, from that moment, its work of life began. So it pushed a little leaflet up into the light of day to examine the surroundings and show the rest the way. The leaflet liked the prospect, so it called its brother, Stem! And 2 other leaflets heard it and quickly followed them. To be sure, the haste and hurry made the little seedling pant, but almost before it knew it, it found itself a plant. The sunshine poured upon it, and the clouds, they gave a shower, and that little plant kept growing till it found itself a flower. Folks, be like the little seedling. Always do the best you can. Everyone must share life's labors, be you child, woman, or man. And the sun and rain will help you through life's lonesome struggling hours, till you raise to light and beauty, virtue's fair, unfading flowers.
Spirit Over Flesh LLC is a wellness-based business where we heal through words. I'm Tiandra. I'm the founding servant leader. It is a Black-owned, woman-owned business that was founded in Ohio, but that can serve the world. Through virtual sessions, either by phone or video conference, we have a conversation. We always start with a 15-minute consult where we just make sure that I learn a little bit about you, you learn some about me, and then we schedule some time to be intentional about your wellness journey. During the time, it's about education and empowerment. You are your own best doctor from within. So I'm literally someone who is just intentional in the space and drawing questions out of you to get you further on your wellness journey. Sessions are typically starting at $80, but if you mention Kwanzaa 2020, we're going to go ahead and take 20% off. It's about getting you well so that we can be well, right? Kujichagulia and Ujamaa, collective responsibility. So grateful for the opportunity to support you in your wellness journey. If you're interested, go to my website, spiritoverfleshllc.com. There's a button that says Let's Connect. Fill out the form, and I'll get right back to you. Again, that's spiritoverfleshllc.com. I look forward to supporting you in your wellness journey and healing through words.
Are you heading out of town or have a special occasion? What about birthdays, anniversaries, or reunions? Get the best deals and inexpensive rental car rates, mid-size sedan, compact cars, and more. We have a variety of fleet vehicles to accommodate any and all of your rental car needs. Make a reservation today at your local budget rental car on Hamilton Road in Whitehall. Call 614-863-7500.
Happy Kwanzaa. I'm Carla, and my sister Karen and I own Two Natural Sisters. We've been in business for 5 years, and we sell a line of natural bath, body, and candle products. Let's take a look. Follow us on social media, Facebook and Instagram, at Two Natural Sisters. All items that are in stock will be shipped within 24 to 48 hours. As a promotional item, we offer a CD of Black romantic poetry of self-love and coupled love, and 50% discount on Sister Locks, Brother Locks by consultant Sapphire Donetta Mahadi. If you have any questions, you can reach us at customercare@twonaturalsisters.com. Enjoy and happy Kwanzaa.
What's going on? My name is Doe. I am the owner and creator of Madeline Gin. Madeline Gin is best described as a celebratory art experience that exudes hella blackness. Initially, the company was founded to provide a luxurious but affordable art experience, and it's since transformed itself into something a bit more spiritual. By walking in what I believe to be my truth, I've been able to get in contact with my ancestors and use my platform and my art, my gift, to tell their untold stories. I do that by using different textures, by utilizing different mediums, colors, and just making things pop out so that it's open for interpretation. I love creating, and I can't wait to be of service to you. Thank you.
I am a genius. My ancestors were geniuses. My ancestors have made me a genius in all that I think, say, and do. I must declare myself a genius. I am a genius. Whenever I am myself, I practice my geniusness and do great things. All my thoughts, choices, and deeds must express my geniusness.
I am a genius. My decisions must always be in the best interest of myself, my family, my people, and my God. Only then will I and everyone I know that I am a genius.
I am a genius. At all times, my geniusness must reflect my culture. My geniusness must serve my God. My geniusness must make me be one in love and harmony with my family. My geniusness must protect my people. Yes, at all times I must demonstrate excellence because I am a genius.
The Purpose Driven Society is a Black-owned, woman-owned business local to Columbus who creates accessories that have intentional messaging. Our specialty are buttons. Buttons can be worn anywhere, on a shirt, on a book bag, on a hat. The beautiful thing about buttons is that you can change them and switch it up depending on your mood or the day. For Election Day, we wore a very intentional button. On my book bag, my student's book bag, it says, "You are already intelligent, educate yourself." Buttons are empowering with the messages that we create. Again, we do them very intentionally. At the Purpose Driven Society, we're minding our Black-owned business and hope that you'll help mind ours too by doing business with us. Our buttons go for $3 for one, $5 for two, $7 for three. But if you mention Kwanzaa 2020, we're doing a special where you'll get an assortment of buttons for just $20, and we'll ship anywhere in the country. So again, that's the Purpose Driven Society. We can be reached at thepurposedrivensociety@outlook.com. Send us an email and we will put together a very intentional bag of buttons for you and ship it straight to your home. Happy Kwanzaa. Thanks for doing business with us.